Imagine waking up one morning, feeling an unfamiliar weight in your legs. No injury, no strain, yet every step feels like you're wading through molasses. You shrug it off, assuming it's just one of those days. But the truth is far more insidious. A silent culprit in your pantry could be chipping away at the very muscle power you depend on. Today, we're diving into 5 everyday foods that might be stealthily sabotaging your strength, and by the end of this video, you'll know exactly which items to rethink at your next grocery run. 1. White bread, refined flour. There's something almost comforting about the familiar softness of a slice of white bread, its pillowy texture, the way it soaks up butter or jam, the gentle snap as you bite through toast at breakfast. For decades, many of us have leaned on that simple loaf as a reliable partner to our morning coffee or as the vehicle for our favorite sandwich fillings. Yet beneath that ease and habit lies a hidden cost that can quietly undermine the very muscle strength we rely on to remain active, independent, and full of life as we age. When flour is refined, the wheat kernel's protective bran and nourishing germ are stripped away, leaving behind mostly starch. In this process, nearly all of the natural fiber, vitamins, minerals, and phytonutrients vanish. What remains is a pale flour that bakes up into soft loaves and tender pastries, but which also behaves more like sugar once it hits your digestive system. Within minutes of eating a couple of slices of white bread, the starch breaks down into glucose so quickly that it floods your bloodstream, triggering a surge of insulin. That hormonal rush is meant to usher sugar into muscle and fat cells for storage or energy. But over time, the pattern of repeated spikes and crashes becomes a silent agitator of chronic, low-grade inflammation throughout the body. Inflammation, though invisible at first, gradually chips away at muscle tissue. It interferes with the complex machinery that rebuilds muscle fibers after even mild physical activity. So when you rise from your favorite armchair or climb a few steps, what used to feel effortless may begin to feel unexpectedly heavy or strained. Plateaus in strength can set in, discouraging you from staying as active as you once were, and that very reduction in movement only accelerates the decline of muscle mass. What started as a harmless toast habit can, over the months and years, contribute to a sense of sluggishness, making you wonder if aging itself is robbing you of the vigor you remember. But the impact of refined flour goes beyond mere inflammation. By causing rapid swings in blood sugar, white bread also competes with protein for your body's rebuilding resources. Protein intake through eggs, lean meat, dairy, or legumices crucial for maintaining muscle fibers, especially after exercise or daily tasks that naturally stress our muscles. However, if your body is preoccupied with reining in surging blood sugar, it cannot devote full attention to turning dietary protein into muscle-building blocks. Over time, even a diet that seems rich in protein may fail to deliver its full benefit, leaving muscles undernourished at a cellular level. Moreover, diets high in refined carbohydrates often lead to increased fat storage rather than muscle gain. Excess calories from white bread and other processed grains are more likely to be deposited as fat around the middle, hips, or thighs areas where fat accumulation exerts additional mechanical stress on weakened muscles and joints. Knees that once carried you up a flight of stairs with ease may start to ache under the combined weight of stored fat and compromised muscle support. This extra load fosters a cycle of discomfort, inactivity, and further muscle loss. Recognizing the toll that white bread and refined flour can take does not mean you must abandon all comfort foods or resign yourself to a life of bland substitutes. Instead, it invites you to make smarter, more nourishing choices that still satisfy the palate and ease into your daily routine. Swapping that traditional white loaf for a 100% whole grain or sprouted grain alternative introduces back the fiber and minerals that help slow digestion, balance blood sugar, and feed not just your body but your gut microbiome. You'll still enjoy the pleasure of toast bud with each bite. You'll also be sending nutrients to your muscles and joints, rather than empty calories. Beyond choosing whole grains, pairing your carbohydrates with quality protein and healthy fats turns every meal into an opportunity for muscle preservation. A slice of sprouted grain bread topped with a poached egg and a scattering of sliced avocado offers a blend of slow-release carbs, essential amino acids, and monounsaturated fat salt, working together to tame blood sugar spikes, reduce inflammation, and provide the raw materials your body needs to sustain muscle fibers. Even swapping standard pasta for whole wheat or bean-based varieties can shift the balance, delivering more protein and fiber per serving and helping you stay fuller longer without the sugar roller coaster. In practical terms, these changes can start small. Perhaps you replace one slice of white bread at breakfast with a whole grain alternative, or choose a legume-based wrap for your lunchtime sandwich. Maybe you experiment with rye or sourdough loaves, which naturally ferment to enhance nutrient availability and flavor. Over a matter of weeks, you'll likely notice steadier energy levels, fewer midday slumps, and a renewed confidence in your body's ability to carry you through everyday activities without that vague sense of heaviness. The story of muscle health in our later years is not written in irreversible decline. It is shaped by the daily choices we make at the table and the kitchen counter. By understanding how refined flour really behaves in our body sand, by gently steering our habits toward whole, unprocessed grains and balanced meals, we can protect our muscle strength, maintain mobility, and preserve the independence that comes from feeling steady on our feet. In the end, it isn't about giving up simple pleasures, but about embracing smarter swaps that let us savor both flavor and vitality for years to come. 2. Fruit juices. There's something undeniably refreshing about pouring a glass of bright orange juice in the morning. The sunlight glinting through the tumbler, the sweet, citrusy aroma rising as you bring it to your lips. These simple pleasures become woven into our daily routines, especially as we seek easy ways to nourish ourselves. Yet beneath that burst of flavor lies a hidden cost to our muscle health, one that can quietly erode the very strength we count on as we age. When whole fruit is transformed into juice, the first casualty is fiber, the protective cellular framework that not only slows digestion, but also keeps our blood sugar steady. What remains is a concentrated dose of natural sugars, glucose and fructose, which rush into the bloodstream almost instantly. That rapid influx prompts the pancreas to release insulin, the hormone responsible for ushering sugar into cells. Over time, these repeated sugar surges and crashes spark a chronic, low-grade inflammation that seeps into every corner of the body, including our precious muscle tissue. Inflammation interferes with the complex repair processes that rebuild and strengthen muscle fibers after even gentle activity. Without that repair, our musculature becomes fragile, and once easy tasks, rising from a favorite chair, carrying groceries up a few steps, or simply standing for longer periods begins to feel heavier, more laborious. Furthermore, the fructose in fruit juice follows a slightly different metabolic path than glucose. While glucose can fuel our muscles directly, fructose is primarily processed by the liver. When the liver is overloaded by excess fructose, it converts the sugar into fat, leading to a condition known as non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, which is more common in older adults than many realize. Fatty liver not only impairs the organ's overall function, but also amplifies the body's inflammatory response, setting off a vicious cycle that further depletes muscle health. There's another subtle but powerful disadvantage to drinking juice instead of eating whole fruit: the absence of satiety signals. When you bite into an apple or peel an orange, the act of chewing and the gradual release of sugars mixed with fiber tell your brain that you've eaten enough. But a full glass of juice, stripped of its pulp and peel, can contain the sugar equivalent of 3 to 4 whole fruits, all arriving in your system at once and bypassing those digestive feedback loops. It's not uncommon to feel hungry again soon afterward, which can lead to snacking or overeating. Those extra calories, consumed to satisfy a lingering craving, contribute to unwanted weight gain, particularly around the belly, placing additional strain on aging muscles and joints. Over time, the combined effects of inflammation, fat accumulation in the liver, and unchecked calorie intake conspire to weaken our muscular framework. You may notice that after gardening, walking around the block, or even standing to do light household chores, your legs feel less steady. Mild fatigue sets in sooner, and muscle soreness lingers longer. As movement becomes less comfortable, we often compensate by moving less, which only accelerates muscle loss, creating a cycle that robs us of vitality and independence. Breaking free from this cycle does not mean abandoning the bright flavors we love. Instead, we can choose to embrace the whole fruit experience in all its satisfying complexity. Blending whole oranges into a smoothie, for example, retains the fiber and pulp that temper the sugar rush and support gradual digestion. The act of sipping through a straw or a spoon also slows our pace, giving our bodies time to register fullness. Mixing in lower sugar berry strawberries, raspberries, or blueberries adds antioxidants, vitamins, and a natural tartness that balances sweetness without undoing our blood sugar stability. If texture isn't to your taste, simply stirring a few slices of citrus or berries into a glass of water can infuse delicate flavor and encourage hydration, all without the sugar overload. Herbal teas also offer a soothing alternative. Hibiscus, ginger, or peppermint infusions provide warmth, hydration, and gentle digestive support without any of the rapid sugar swings. When you crave the ritual of a morning beverage, brewing a pot of fragrant chamomile or rooibos can become its own form of comfort tone that nurtures overall health and supports muscle recovery by maintaining balanced hydration levels. It's important to remember that every meal and every drink is an opportunity to strengthen our bodies for the tasks we cherish. Playing with grandchildren, tending to a garden, walking through the neighborhood, or simply standing and sharing a meal with friends. By choosing whole fruits or smoothie blends over juice, and by pairing them with protein-rich foods such as Greek yogurt, cottage cheese, or a handful of nuts, we create balanced plates and glasses that nourish our muscles while satisfying our taste buds. The journey to preserving muscle health in our later years is not built on dramatic overhauls, but on small, consistent changes. Reducing juice intake and opting for whole food alternatives can transform a simple breakfast ritual into a powerful defense against muscle loss. Over weeks and months, you may find yourself feeling steadier on your feet, experiencing fewer energy slumps, and rediscovering the joy of movement without that nagging heaviness. It's a reminder that mindful choices like sipping a blended berry-orange smoothie instead of a glass of juice can ripple through our lives, preserving the strength that allows us to live fully, independently, and with a renewed sense of vitality. 3. Processed meats. There's a certain nostalgic comfort in the sizzle of bacon on a Sunday morning, or the savory bite of a ham sandwich at lunch. For many older adults, processed meats like bacon, ham, sausages, and deli cuts have long occupied a place of convenience and familiar flavor. Yet beneath that veneer of ease and protein promise lies a hidden truth that can quietly undermine the muscle strength we so desperately need to maintain mobility, independence, and vitality as we age. From the moment these meats are cured or smoked, a cascade of chemical changes begins. Nitrates and nitrites are added to preserve color and prevent bacterial growth, but once inside your body, these compounds can transform into nitrosamine-potent molecules that generate oxidative stress. Oxidative stress is the biochemical equivalent of tiny sparks igniting in your muscle fibers, damaging cell membranes, and disrupting the delicate repair mechanisms that rebuild and strengthen tissue after even the gentlest activity. In a younger body, these sparks might be swiftly quelled, but as we grow older, our natural antioxidant defenses wane, and the cumulative damage from repeated exposure begins to erode the integrity of muscle fibers. Tasks that once felt effortless, carrying a bag of groceries, ascending a flight of stairs, rising from a seated position, start to feel heavier, as if every movement requires more effort than it once did. Inflammation is another silent accomplice in this process. The same chemical preservatives and added sugars or fillers that make processed meats palatable also provoke a chronic, low-grade inflammatory response. Inflammation, by its very nature, slows down circulation and compromises nutrient delivery to muscle tissue. Each strand of muscle becomes starved for the oxygen and amino acids it needs to repair micro tears and maintain strength. Over time, inflammation fosters an environment where muscle breakdown outpaces muscle rebuild, leading to a gradual but unmistakable loss of mass and function. Your legs might tremble slightly after a brief stroll, or your arms might feel leaden when you reach overhead, signals that your muscles are not recovering as robustly as they once did. Even the saturated fat in some cheaper products, harmful trans fats, compound the challenge. These fats narrow blood vessels, restricting the flow of nutrient-rich blood that your muscles rely on for energy and repair. Imagine trying to water a garden through a hose that has gradually become kinked and narrowed. The stream that once nourished every plant is now a trickle, leaving sections parched and wilting. Similarly, compromised blood flow starves muscle cells of what they need to thrive. The result can be early fatigue, cramps, and an almost mechanical weakness that can be both physically uncomfortable and emotionally disheartening. When your muscles grow weaker, joints take on more load, leading to stiffness and pain in hips, knees, and lower back symptoms that, while common in aging, are often exacerbated by dietary choices rather than aging alone. Sodium, used liberally to enhance flavor and extend shelf life, poses yet another hidden threat. High salt content pulls water out of cells, leading to chronic mild dehydration that muscles feel immediately. Dehydrated muscles cannot contract or relax smoothly, making them prone to cramps and slower to recover from even light exertion. You may notice that after enjoying a ham and cheese roll, you feel thirstier and perhaps a bit sluggish, your muscles signaling that they have lost precious fluid and the electrolytes needed for optimal function. Over time, this pattern of dehydration and cramping can discourage activity, as simple movements begin to feel uncomfortable or painful, and the cycle of reduced motion accelerates muscle loss. Perhaps most surprisingly, processed meats often fall short in delivering the quality protein our bodies need. While they advertise high protein content, the reality is that filler starches, flours, and processed binders dilute that promise. The proteins present are frequently altered by preservation processes, making them less bioavailable for muscle repair. Picture trying to construct a sturdy brick wall with bricks that have been partially dissolved and crumbled. The structure is never as solid as one built with fresh, intact materials. Even with a diet that appears protein-rich on the surface, your muscles may not receive the raw building blocks they need to maintain and regenerate themselves. All of these factors, oxidative stress, inflammation, poor blood flow, dehydration, and low-quality protein, conspire over months and years to create an environment where muscle tissue is constantly under siege. As a result, older adults can find themselves asking, "Why does everything feel harder now?" The answer may lie not only in the passing of time, but in the cumulative impact of what we eat. The good news is that we have the power to rewrite this narrative, even in our later decades. By gradually reducing processed meats and replacing them with fresh, nutrient-dense proteins, we can tip the scales back toward muscle preservation. Lean cuts of chicken and turkey, grass-fed beef, wild-caught fish, eggs, and thoughtfully prepared plant proteins, such as lentils, chickpeas, and tofu, deliver clean, complete amino acids without the hidden preservatives, sodium overload, or harmful fats. These choices do more than satisfy hunger. They actively support muscle recovery, reduce inflammation, and restore the hydration and nutrient flow that underpins strength. Making these changes need not be drastic. Begin by curbing the frequency of bacon at breakfast, opting instead for an omelet with fresh vegetables or smoked salmon rich in omega-3s. Choose turkey or chicken slices at lunch rather than deli ham, and explore home-prepared meatballs or lean meat chili as satisfying alternatives to prepackaged sausages. Over weeks, you may find that your energy lasts longer. Your muscles feel more resilient after light activity, and the heaviness that once accompanied simple movements begins to lift. In this way, food becomes not only a source of comfort and enjoyment, but a deliberate ally in preserving the muscle strength that keeps us standing tall, walking freely, and living with the confidence that comes from knowing our bodies can carry us through each new day. 4. Raw spinach. There's something almost magical about the allure of a fresh handful of raw spinach. Its deep emerald leaves glisten with dew, and just a forkful seems to promise a rush of vitamins, minerals, and antioxidants. For many health-conscious seniors, adding raw spinach to salads, smoothies, and wraps feels like an effortless way to boost overall well-being. Yet, beneath its reputation as a superfood lies a hidden complexity, one that, if left unaddressed, can quietly undermine the muscle strength that is so vital for maintaining independence and vitality as we age. At the heart of the matter is a naturally occurring compound called oxalic acid. You won't find oxalic acid listed on a nutrition label, but its impact on your body can be profound. When oxalic acid meets certain minerals, most notably calcium and magnesium, in the digestive tract, it binds with them to form insoluble crystals known as oxalates. Because these oxalates are not absorbed, the very minerals you need to support healthy muscle contractions, nerve signaling, and bone strength simply pass through the body unused. Over weeks and months of eating large quantities of raw spinach, you may begin to notice subtle changes: more frequent muscle cramps, a nagging sense of fatigue that lingers after gentle exercise, or soreness that doesn't respond to your usual stretch and rest routine. Even if the rest of your diet seems rich in leafy greens and calcium-boosting foods, the hidden binding action of oxalates can leave your muscles starved of the nutrients they crave. Think of it like planting a flourishing vegetable garden but then covering the rich soil with a tarp. No matter how fertile the earth beneath, your seeds cannot sprout. Similarly, even when calcium-rich dairy, tofu, nuts, or seeds are part of your meals, oxalic acid in raw spinach can rob them of the chance to nourish your muscles and bones. Over time, the cumulative effect may leave you feeling less sure-footed on that morning walk, or more hesitant to join friends for a gentle game of bocce activities that once felt entirely natural. There's another layer to consider: the impact of oxalate buildup on kidney function. Your kidneys play a crucial role in filtering waste and regulating electrolyte balance, which in turn affects muscle performance. High oxalate levels increase the risk of forming kidney stones, a painful condition that often goes hand in hand with dehydration and further imbalances in calcium and magnesium. As stones form, the kidneys become less efficient at maintaining the precise mineral equilibrium your muscles depend on for smooth contractions and effective recovery. When every sip of water seems to go straight through you, and every step brings a twinge in your side, it's easy to underestimate how much dietary oxalates may be contributing to your discomfort. The good news is that spinach need not be banished from your plate. By embracing simple cooking techniques and mindful pairing, you can reclaim its nutritional benefits without surrendering your muscle health. Lightly steaming or sautéing spinach reduces its oxalic acid content by up to 40%, a transformation that unlocks more of its valuable nutrients. Discarding the cooking water further diminishes residual oxalates, ensuring that the calcium and magnesium you later enjoy from dairy or fortified alternatives actually make it into your bloodstream. Over time, this approach can lead to fewer cramps, quicker post-activity recovery, and a renewed confidence in your body's ability to carry you through daily tasks. Rotation is equally important. Rather than relying solely on spinach as your source of greens, consider alternating with varieties that naturally contain lower levels of oxalic acid. Crisp romaine lettuce, tender butter lettuce, arugula, and baby kale each deliver a spectrum of vitamins and antioxidants without posing the same mineral-binding challenge. When you sit down to lunch, a mixed green salad featuring several of these lettuces, vibrant bell peppers, shredded carrots, and a sprinkle of sesame seeds achieves balance and variety qualities that not only delight the palate, but also nurture diverse gut bacteria that support overall nutrient absorption. Finally, remember that every meal is an invitation to combine the right partners. When you enjoy cooked spinach or a medley of low oxalate greens, serve them alongside calcium-rich companions such as cottage cheese, yogurt, or a handful of almonds. A lunchtime plate might feature a frittata studded with steamed spinach, goat's cheese, and sun-dried tomatoes, or a warm bowl of minestrone brimming with kale, white beans, and Parmesan shavings. Each bite delivers a harmonious blend of minerals, complete proteins, and healthy fats, all working together to fuel the intricate cellular processes that build and maintain muscle fibers. In the grand tapestry of healthy aging, it's not a single food nor a single habit that determines our strength and resilience. It's the sum of countless choices made day after day. By understanding the unique behavior of raw spinach in your body and adapting with simple cooking methods, thoughtful rotations, and nutrient-rich pairings, you can continue to enjoy the bright flavor and visual appeal of leafy greens while safeguarding the muscle health that underpins your independence. Over time, these mindful adjustments will help you rise from your chair with ease, walk with conviction, and embrace each new day with the confidence that comes from knowing your body is truly nourished from the inside out. 5. Excess coffee. There's a comforting ritual in lifting a warm mug of coffee to your lips each morning, the rich aroma promising alertness and the familiar warmth spreading through your hands. For many older adults, that daily cup can feel like a steadfast companion, a gentle nudge into wakefulness and the start of a new day. Yet beneath the comforting ritual lies a hidden cost to muscle health and overall vitality, one that accumulates subtly over time and can leave you feeling less steady on your feet and more prone to cramps, fatigue, and even slower recovery after simple activities. Coffee's prime effect, the caffeine that sharpens focus and chases away the morning fog, also has a potent diuretic action. With each cup, your body flushes out not only extra fluids but also vital minerals such as calcium and magnesium. These minerals are the very ones your muscles need to contract smoothly, repair microscopic tears after even gentle exertion, and send electrical signals that coordinate movement. When you lose them through frequent urination without adequate replacement, your muscles can become stiff, prone to painful spasms, or slow to recover from tasks like climbing stairs or carrying a small load of groceries. Over time, this mineral depletion can make routine movements feel heavier, as though an invisible resistance has settled into your limbs. Yet the story does not end with dehydration. Caffeine also interacts with our body's stress response by elevating cortisol, the fight-or-flight hormone that in short bursts can be life-saving, but, when chronically elevated, actively breaks down muscle tissue. Cortisol prompts the body to convert muscle protein into glucose for quick energy, a process that, if repeated daily, slowly erodes the very fibers you rely on for steadiness and strength. Imagine a gardener who, instead of nourishing the soil cycle after cycle, continually removes its nutrients. Eventually, the garden grows sparse and fragile. Similarly, our muscles, subjected to repeated cortisol-driven breakdown without sufficient rebuilding time, lose both mass and resilience. Compounding this, caffeine can interfere with the restorative power of sleep, especially the deep stages during which growth hormone is released to rebuild and fortify muscle fibers. Even if you fall asleep easily after your afternoon pick-me-up, that caffeine can reduce the quantity and quality of your deep sleep cycles. The result is a body that never fully repairs or replenishes its energy stores, leading to mid-morning or mid-afternoon slumps, prolonged soreness after light activity, and a creeping sense of weariness that mere rest cannot alleviate. It's no coincidence that people who rely on multiple cups of coffee to get through the day often find themselves reaching for yet another cup just to feel normal. Finally, coffee's natural acidity may irritate the digestive tract, sometimes causing mild inflammation that subtly impairs nutrient absorption. When your gut lining is inflamed, it struggles to absorb the very proteins, vitamins, and minerals that fuel muscle repair. Over time, this invisible drain on essential nutrients further compromises your ability to bounce back from even modest physical tasks, from standing to greet a friend at the door to tending a small patch of garden. The combined effect of mineral loss, cortisol-driven muscle breakdown, disrupted sleep, and compromised digestion creates a perfect storm for muscle declinone that often masquerades as just getting older. All is not lost, however. By cultivating mindful habits around coffee consumption, you can preserve its comforts without sacrificing your muscular strength. Begin by limiting your intake to 1 or 2 cups in the morning, ideally enjoyed after a balanced breakfast that includes protein and healthy fats. Protein-rich foods such as eggs, yogurt, or a handful of nuts help moderate caffeine's impact on blood sugar and ensure that your muscles have amino acids on hand to begin repair even as you sip. Avoid coffee after mid-afternoon so that caffeine no longer intrudes on the precious deep sleep stages your body needs to regenerate. Whenever possible, follow each cuppa with a glass of water or a mineral-rich herbal infusion to replace lost fluids and replenish electrolytes. For an afternoon ritual, consider switching to lower caffeine or caffeine-free options that still satisfy the desire for warmth and ritual. Green tea offers a gentle lift along with antioxidants that support muscle and joint health, while herbal blends such as chamomile, mint, or rooibos can promote relaxation, soothe the digestive system, and encourage hydration without diuretic effects. If you miss the flavor of coffee, try a chicory blend or a caffeine-free roasted grain coffee substitute. In tandem, focus on a diet rich in calcium and magnesium-containing foods. Leafy greens, seeds, legumes, and dairy or fortified plant milks to rebuild your mineral reserves and soothe muscle cramps. Now that you've uncovered the 5 hidden muscle enemies lurking in your diet, it's time to take charge of your strength and independence. Which of these surprising culprits hit closest to home? And what healthy swap will you make first? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Give this video a thumbs up if you found it eye-opening. And don't forget to subscribe, because your journey to staying strong and vibrant is only just beginning. Stay tuned for more science-backed tips every week. And let's keep building a healthier tomorrow, one meal at a time.